welcome back to my channel. It's Nettles, your favorite potty mouth, your favorite foul mouth, your favorite shit mouth dragon rider. Today, we're going to be doing me, and my personalities. Me and my personalities and I will be doing a dramatic reading of the blog post heard around the world. Now, I love George. No one else has been able to influence me or affect me so much with writing the way he has. He truly has a gift. He truly has a one-of-a-kind mind. I say all that to say that I'm a silly, privileged American girl. No matter how silly I get during this dramatic reading, always remember that I love and respect George. Okay, let's get started. Back in July, I promised you some further thoughts about blood and cheese and Maelor the Missing. After my commentary on the first 2 episodes of House of the Dragon Season 2,
A son for a son.
and Rhaenyra the Cruel. Those were terrific episodes. Well written, well directed, powerfully acted. A great way to kick off the new season. Fans and critics alike seem to agree. There was only one aspect of the episodes that drew significant criticism: the handling of blood and cheese and the death of Prince Jaehaerys. From the commentary I saw online, opinion was split there. The readers of Fire and Blood found the sequence underwhelming. A disappointment! Watered down from what they were expecting. Viewers who had not read the book had no such problems. Most of them found the sequence a real gut punch, tragic, horrifying, nightmarish, etc. Some reported being reduced to tears. I found myself agreeing with both sides. In my book, Aegon and Helena have 3 children, not 2! The twins, Jaehaerys and Jaehaera, are 6 years old. They have a younger brother, Maelor, who is 2. When Blood and Cheese break in on Helena and the kids, they tell her they are debt collectors, come to exact revenge for the death of Prince Lucerys, a son for a son. As Helena has 2 sons, however, they demand that she choose which one should die. She resists and offers her own life instead, but the killers insist it has to be a son. If she does not name one, they will kill all 3 of the children. To save the life of the twins, Helena names Maelor. But Blood kills the older boy, Jaehaerys, instead, while Cheese tells little Maelor that his mother wanted him dead. Well, actually, whether the boy is old enough to understand, that is not at all certain. And that's not how it happens on the show. There is no Maelor in House of the Dragon. Only the twins.
Actually, both of whom look younger than 6, but I am no sure judge of children's ages, so I can't be sure how old they're supposed to be.
Blood can't seem to tell the twins apart. So, Helena is asked to reveal which one is the boy.
You would think a glance up his PJs would reveal that without involving the mother.
Instead of offering her own life to save the kids, Helena offers them a necklace. Blood and Cheese are not tempted. Blood saws Prince Jaehaerys' head off. We are spared the sight of that. A sound effect suffices.
In the book, he lops off the head with a sword.
It is a bloody, brutal scene, no doubt. How not? An innocent child is being butchered in front of his mother. I still believe the scene in the book is stronger. The readers have the right of that. The two killers are crueler in the book. I thought the actors who played the killers on the show were excellent, but the characters are crueler, harder, and more frightening in Fire and Blood. In the show, Blood is a gold cloak, but in the book, he is a former gold cloak, stripped of his office for beating a woman to death. Book Blood is the sort of man who might think making a woman choose which of her sons should die is amusing. Especially when they double down on the wanton cruelty by murdering the boy she tries to save. Book Cheese is worse too. He does not kick a dog, true, but he does not have a dog. And he's the one who tells Maelor that his mom wants him dead. I would also suggest that Helena shows more courage, more strength in the book by offering her own life to save her son. Offering a piece of jewelry is just not the same. As I saw it, the Sophie's Choice aspect was the strongest part of the sequence, the darkest, most visceral. I hated to lose that. And judging from the comments online, most of the fans seem to agree. When Ryan Condal first told me what he meant to do ages ago, back in 2022 might be, I argued against it for all these reasons. I did not argue long or with much heat, however. Well, the change weakened the sequence, I felt, but only a bit. And Ryan had what seemed to be practical reasons for it. They did not want to deal with casting another child, especially a 2-year-old toddler. Kids that young will inevitably slow down production, and there would be budget implications. Well, budget was already an issue on House of the Dragon. It made sense to save money wherever we could. Moreover, Ryan assured me that we were not losing Prince Maelor, simply postponing him. Queen Helena could still give birth to him in season 3, presumably after getting with child late in season 2. That made sense to me. So I withdrew my objections and acquiesced to the change. I still love the episode and the blood and cheese sequence overall. Losing the Helena's Choice beat did weaken the scene, but not to any great degree. Only the book readers, nerds, would even notice its absence. Viewers who had never read Fire and Blood would still find the scenes heartrending. Maelor did not actually do anything in the scene. After all, how could he? He was only 2 years old. There is another aspect to the removal of the young princeling, however. Those of you who hate spoilers should stop reading here. Spoilers will follow, at least for the readers among you. If you have never read Fire and Blood, maybe it doesn't matter because all I'm going to spoil here are things that happen in the book that may never happen in the series, starting with Maelor himself. Sometime between the initial decision to remove Maelor, a big change was made. The prince's birth was no longer just going to be pushed back to season 3. He was never going to be born at all.
The younger son of Aegon and Helena would never appear.
Most of you know about the butterfly effect, I assume. Yes, there was a movie with that title a few years back. It's a familiar concept in chaos theory as well, but most science fiction fans were first exposed to the idea in Ray Bradbury's classic time travel story, A Sound of Thunder, wherein a time traveler from the present panics and crushes a butterfly while hunting a T-Rex. When he returns to his own time, he discovers that the world has changed in huge and frightening ways.
One dead butterfly.
has rewritten history. The lesson being that change begets change, and even small and seemingly insignificant alterations to a timeline or a story can have a profound effect on all that follows. Maelor is a 2-year-old toddler in Fire and Blood, but like our butterfly, he has an impact on the story all out of proportion to his size. The readers among you may recall that when it appears that Rhaenyra and her blacks are about to capture King's Landing, Queen Alicent becomes concerned for the safety of Helena's remaining children and takes steps to save them by smuggling them out of the city. The task is given to 2 knights of the Kingsguard. Sir Willis Fell is commanded to deliver Princess Jaehaera to the Baratheons at Storm's End, while Maelor is given over to Sir Rickard Thorne to be escorted across the Mander to the protection of the Hightower army on its way to King's Landing. Willis Fell delivers Jaehaera safely to the Baratheons at Storm's End. But Sir Rickard fares less well. He and Maelor get as far as Bitterbridge, where he is revealed as a Kingsguard in a tavern called the Hogshead. Once discovered, Sir Rickard fights bravely to protect his young charge and bring him to safety, but he does not even make it across the bridge before some crossbows bring him down. Prince Maelor is torn from his arms and then sadly ripped to pieces by the mob fighting over the boy and the huge reward that Rhaenyra has offered for his capture and return. Will any of that appear on the show? Maybe. But I don't see how. The butterflies would seem to prohibit it. You could perhaps make Sir Rickard's ward be Jaehaera instead of Maelor, but Jaehaera can't be killed. She has a huge role to play as Aegon's next heir. Could maybe make Maelor a newborn instead of a 2-year-old, but that would scramble up the timeline, which is a bit of a mess already. I have no idea what Ryan has planned.
If indeed he has planned anything.
But given Maelor's absence from episode 2, the simplest way to proceed would be just to drop him entirely. Lose the bit where Alicent tries to send the kids to safety. Drop Rickard Thorne or send him with Willis Fell so Jaehaera has 2 guards. From what I know, that seems to be what Ryan is doing here. It's simplest, yes, and may make sense in terms of budgets and shooting schedules, but simpler is not better. The Bitterbridge scene has tension, suspense, action, bloodshed, a bit of heroism, and a lot of tragedy. Rickard Thorne is a tertiary character at best. Most viewers, as opposed to readers, will never know he is gone, since they never knew him at all. But I rather liked giving him his brief moment of heroism, a taste of the courage and loyalty of the Kingsguard, regardless of whether they are black or green. The butterflies are not done with us yet, however. In the book, when word of Prince Maelor's death and the grisly manner of his passing, page 505, reaches the Red Keep, that proves to be the thing that drives Queen Helena to suicide. She could barely stand to look at Maelor, knowing that she chose him to die in the Sophie's Choice scene. And now, he is dead. In truth, her words having come true. The grief and guilt are too much for her to bear. In Ryan's outline for season 3, Helena still kills herself for no particular reason. There is no fresh horror, no triggering event to overwhelm the fragile young queen, and the final butterfly follows soon thereafter. Queen Helena, a sweet and gentle soul, is much beloved by the small folk of King's Landing. Rhaenyra was not. So when rumors began to arise that Helena did not kill herself but rather was murdered at Rhaenyra's command, the commons are quick to believe them. That night, King's Landing rose in bloody riot, I wrote on page 506 of Fire and Blood. It is the beginning of the end for Rhaenyra's rule over the city, ultimately leading to the storming of the Dragon Pit and the rise of the Shepherd's mob that drives Rhaenyra to flee the city and return to Dragonstone and to her death. Maelor by himself means little. He is a small child, does not have a line of dialogue, does nothing of consequence but die. But where and when and how, that does matter. Losing Maelor weakened the end of the blood and cheese sequence. But it also cost us the bitter bridge scene with all its horror and heroism. It undercut the motivation for Helena's suicide, and that in turn sent thousands into the streets and alleys screaming for justice for their murdered queen. None of that is essential, I suppose. But all of it does serve a purpose. It all helps to tie the storylines together. So, one thing follows another in a logical and convincing manner. What will we offer the fans instead? Once we've killed these butterflies, I have no idea. I do not recall that Ryan and I ever discussed this back when he first told me they were pushing back on Aegon's second son. Maelor himself is not essential, but if losing him means we also lose Bitterbridge, Helena's suicide, and the riots, well, that's a considerable loss. And there are larger and more toxic butterflies to come. If House of the Dragon goes ahead with some of the changes being contemplated for seasons 3 and 4,